G'day friends, Franny here and welcome to your Considered Body Recovery Practice. This is a simple and gentle spine mobility class. Know that simple and gentle is kind of relative to however you're feeling in your body today. So please make this practice your own. Dig a little deep or pull back based on the sensations that you're feeling. We're going to be entirely grounded. All you're going to need is a mat, but if you'd feel comfortable with a blanket or a towel, a couple of pillows, or even a yoga block if you've got one, I encourage you to gather what you need and then set yourself up so you can be as comfortable as possible. We'll get started with a little bit of breath work in whatever seat is calling you. I like kneeling. Maybe you come crisscross. Maybe you say, hey, I want to lie down. You go ahead and lie down. Take a moment to get settled. Maybe let go of an audible sigh, just like I did. Wiggle your shoulders, your eyebrows, open and close your jaw, and then just find your center, a place to just drop and give your weight over to the ground. And although there's that giving over, there is still this stability to our structure. We're not slouching or collapsing, but rather stacking our bones and letting our muscles and skin kind of just rest or drape over them. Not breathing to any particular count. Rather, I invite you to visualize your inhale breath expanding your back body like a breeze catching a kite or a wind catching a sail. So every time you inhale, the back side of your body gets that little bit broader, that little bit larger, but at the same time, that little bit more light. And then as you exhale, just find this relaxing or this floating, this drifting back down. Keep on going with that imagery, inhaling to fill with breath, getting that little bit bigger, creating this subtle stretch. And then as you exhale, just softening and releasing. And take a few more rounds just like that. No strain as you inhale, just letting it flow in and out. Take one more round of breath. And if your eyes flooded closed and you feel comfortable keeping them closed, then stay there. Or maybe you gently blink the curtains of your eyelids open. If you're sitting in a cross-legged position, I encourage you to swap the wrap of your shins. If you're kneeling or lying, just stay as you are. Oh, sorry, if you're lying, come on up. If you're kneeling, stay as you are. And we're going to begin our spinal movement with our neck. So shoulders are down, a little bit more length through the crown of your head, the tips of your ears. And we're just going to start to rotate our head, chin towards one shoulder, one side, and then the other side. Taking your time as you move from right to left, left to right. And it's not about looking behind you necessarily or getting your head to rotate as far as it can, but rotating just to the point where you get feedback. No strain, but that message from your body, like, this is our sweet spot, stop right here. And maybe you linger there for a moment, just feeling the muscles that are holding your head and neck in that position. What's lengthening, what's contracting. And then next time you turn your head to the right, just hold it there. Maybe you start to lower your chin towards your shoulder, keeping that rotation through your neck, your cervical spine. And then start to tip your chin up towards the ceiling. Maybe you notice your head drops back. Nod, chin towards shoulder. And then lift your face, your gaze, your chin. We'll do one more. It might be a big nod, it might be small. Whatever it is, I just encourage you to move gently and slowly. And then bring your head back to a neutral position, even though it's rotated. We'll just bring our face, our gaze, over to the opposite side. Pause in that sweet spot, and we'll just find that nod once again. So lowering your chin towards your shoulder, and then lifting your gaze, lifting your chin, head drops or rolls back a little bit. 2 more times, lowering and lifting, knowing that there's absolutely no rush, there's no judgment or range of motion, just doing what feels good and sweet and right in this moment. And then next time you lower your head, bring it back to that neutral position so your chin is parallel to the ground. And then turn to face your device or your monitor, coming back through center, giving your shoulders a little roll or a shrug if they feel the need. And then just start to drop your right ear towards your right shoulder, getting a little bit more length through your left side, and you might just stay here. Or maybe you gently press your right hand above your left ear. And it's less of a press, it's more of a rest, using the weight of your palm of your arm to deepen the sensation of stretch. You might stay here, or maybe you start to extend your left arm, lifting it up and down and rolling the wrist, just noticing how that plays with the sensation, how it changes the feedback with the movement of the arm and the lower joints. Continuing to breathe slowly and fully, using the breath to create this sense of ease and calm in the mind and your body. And then let your left arm settle back down by your side if it was lifted and moving. Let your right arm release and settle back down by your side, bringing your head back to neutral, the vertebrae of your spine stacked, and maybe you just give your head and neck a little roll. And then we'll take that to the opposite side. So start to lean your opposite ear to opposite shoulder. Left side this time, pardon me. Try not to let your right shoulder lift or for your whole spine to lean, but rather just keep that lateral flexion in your cervical spine, your neck. Maybe you stay here, or maybe you rest your left palm just above your right ear, letting gravity just add that little bit of load to deepen the sensation of stretch wherever you feel it in your neck. Maybe this is enough, or maybe you start to layer on that movement of your right arm, a rolling of the wrist, a lifting, a lowering. Applying this attitude of curiosity to the sensation that arises and how it shifts with our movement, with our mindset, and with our breath. Then slowly beginning to lower your right arm down, lower your left arm down, and bring your spine to stack through center. Transitioning out of your seated position, coming into an all fours with your palms beneath your shoulders, your knees beneath your hips. We'll undulate the spine through one round of cat-cow. Inhale, lower your belly, lift your tailbone, pull your chest forward and through, tip your head up, and then just pause there. Can you find that little bit more contraction in between your shoulder blades, so you can find that little bit more puff of your breastbone, your collarbones, your throat? Breathing in and out, not holding the breath, just noticing how it feels to linger in this cow. Take an inhale, and then as you exhale, start to arch your spine, find cat. Tailbone lengthens down towards the backs of your knees, plugging into your hands without locking out your elbows, arching your upper back. Let the top of your head fall down so your gaze rests in between your knees. And again, can you imagine your breath expanding the backside of your body like the kite or the sail catching the wind? Letting your breath ebb and flow naturally as you pause, as you linger in your cat. One more inhale. One more exhale. And then return your spine to neutral, finding a thread the needle. Left palm stays grounded as you breathe in. Float your right arm. Reach your fingertips to the sky, finding your range of motion here. Shoulder blades pulling together to open you up. And then as you exhale, bring your right arm down so your right shoulder gets heavy, your right ear, your right side of head rests. And maybe you slide your left palm forward as you give your weight over to the ground. I like to try and find that little bit more reach through the right side fingertips so I can almost roll onto the outer edge of the right side shoulder, feeling the sensation of stretch behind the right side shoulder blade and through the middle upper back. Noticing your ribs expanding and contracting as you breathe in and out. Closing down the eyes if you feel called to do so. Taking one more inhale. And as you exhale, get that little bit heavier, that little bit more grounded, finding that little bit more surrender. As you next breathe in, start to pull your left palm back beneath your left shoulder if it had slid forward, and then ground down through that hand as you start to rotate your right arm up, opening through your right side chest, and then set your right hand down. And we'll take it immediately over to the opposite side. So right hand stays heavy. As you breathe in, rotate open to the left. Pull your shoulder blades together. Spark your fingertips as high as you can, knowing that range of motion will change from day to day and also with practice. As you exhale, start to thread your left arm beneath your right armpit. Lower yourself all the way down so your shoulder, ear, side of head rest on the ground. Feeling the weight on the outer edge of your left side shoulder. Leaning into that space to create that little bit more sensation and spaciousness through your upper back. Sliding your right palm forward if you feel called to do so. Noticing the intercostal muscles, the fingers in between your ribs. Noticing what's existing around and surrounding the sensation of stretch. Relaxing your jaw, unfurrowing your brow. Letting your diaphragm and your pelvic floor move as you breathe, not tensing or holding, gripping onto anything. Taking one more breath in and one more breath out. Starting to pull your right hand back beneath your right shoulder. And then as you breathe in, press down through your right palm, rotate open once again. Maybe notice you can find that little bit more lift, that little bit more stretch. And then setting your left hand down. Bring your big toes to touch, fan your knees wide, and then start to pull your hips back towards your heels for a child's pose. Elongating your spine, maybe you crawl walk, your fingertips, your palms, your arms, that fraction further forward. And can you find this active reach through the tips of your fingers and this active pull back of your hip creases? Almost like there was this really gentle, friendly game of tug of war. Now, aware not just of your backside expanding with your breath, but the sides as well. Feeling your inhale in your armpits, your side ribs, your side waist, your hips. You might stay through center if the sensation is calling you to stay here. Or maybe you start to walk your hands over towards the left side, right palm stacks on top of left, trying to keep your hips low and level as you draw your right hip crease back and lean that little bit more sideways into your right side ribs. Creating this crescent moon-like shape from the tips of the fingers down towards your tailbone. Your forehead might be resting on the floor, your nose might be touching the floor, your chin, your face might be at a hover, that's okay. Just find the expression of this shape which allows you to just be and breathe for 3 more rounds of breath. Not straining, not forcing yourself into it, but rather just holding space and allowing what is. 1 more round of breath. And no hurry, in your own time, start to walk your hands back through center, staying there just for a breath in and a sigh out. And then starting to walk your hands over and off the right side edge of your mat, left palm stacking on top of right. Again, hips staying low and level, pulling back towards your heels as you lean that little bit more into your left side body. Left hip crease pulling back. Letting your chest, your chin, your face melt down. Breathing front, back, and sides. Belly, ribs. Showing a little love to our spine. As we elongate and lean, take 2 more rounds of breath. And in your own time, walk your hands back through center. And then just start to slither forward. Maybe let your butt lift up as you come all the way on to your belly. Maybe you stack your hands one on top of the other. Let your forehead rest on top like a little pillow just for a moment. Soften your shoulders, drawing them down and away from your ears. I'm going to move through a little bit more rotation, getting into the chest and front of shoulders as well. Start to extend your right arm out to the side in a T or a cactus shape. And then draw your left palm in line with your left side chest. Pushing down into your left palm, start to roll up and over onto your right side. Maybe your left leg is suspended. Maybe the sole of the foot can kind of rest behind your right. Now this can feel quite intense. And if it does, just notice and try and meet that intensity with curiosity and compassion, knowing that you can back off. You can change the position of your arm, of your legs, whatever you need to do to stay here and breathe your way through it, knowing that we're not here for long. We're not trying to push the sensation away. We're trying to work with it. We're trying to be productive. Two more rounds of breath. One more inhale. And one more exhale. Taking your time, start to unwind, bringing your hips and your shoulders back to flat and level, resting on the mat, bringing your hands, your wrists back to stack, and stacking your head on top, finding that little pillow, and a moment of softening through center. Before we switch to the opposite side, extending your left arm out wide to a T or a cactus, pulling your right palm in line with your right side chest, and then pressing down into your right side palm as you roll up and over, getting heavy on the left side shoulder, your left side hip. The leg might be hovering, it might be more of a kickstand, it may extend. And again, meeting what you encounter here with kindness. No matter how uncomfortable or loud what you feel may be, it deserves kindness, open-mindedness, curiosity, not judging it, not labeling it. If it feels bad, it doesn't mean you're bad or you've done anything wrong. It's just what you're experiencing in this moment. Take one more breath in. One more breath out. And then slowly, taking your time, start to come back through center where we won't linger for very long. Before we roll, just flip yourself over onto your back. Wiggle around, adjust your hair, adjust your clothes as you need so you can get comfortable in this supine position. And then maybe you just bring your hands to the front of your hips for a moment. Just give them a little rub. A rub of your belly. And then just bring your hands onto your chest. And just feel the breath moving in the front side of your body for a moment or two. Belly and ribs expanding and contracting. Chest rising and falling. And a last stretch here, finding a supine twist. Start to pull your right knee up towards your chest, interlacing your fingers in front of your knee or your shin, giving your leg a hug, feeling a compression through the front of your hip, a stretch through the back of your hip. And then when you're ready, use your left hand to guide your right leg over and across to the left, reaching your right side fingertips away while keeping the back of your right shoulder as grounded and as heavy as possible, trying not to let it peel off the mat too dramatically. Settling into your twist, maybe you just give yourself over and surrender, letting gravity pull you down. Or maybe you find this subtle shifting of your pelvis forward, back, side to side. Just noticing what a little hip rock does to the sensation that you feel. Feeling a full 360 degrees of your rib cage. Fill with breath and relax as you exhale out. Taking 2 more rounds of breath here. And when you're ready, releasing your left hand to unanchor your right leg, coming back through center, and then immediately we extend our right leg long and hug your left knee up towards your chest, interlacing your fingers at the front of the shin, wherever you feel called. Maybe you rock the leg from side to side, feeling into the compression at the front of the hip. Stretch through your glute, your hamstring, the back of your hip. And then taking your twist over to the right, using your right hand to guide your left leg, rolling onto the outer edge of your right side hip, extending your left arm open to the T. Left shoulder stays heavy. Belly moving with your breath. Feeling that same kind of tug of war, this time diagonally across your body. Inviting in a little movement, whether it's that pelvic or hip rock. Or maybe you settle into a surrendered stillness. Where can you find that little bit more release, even if it's just that 1% more? Taking one more breath in. And one more breath out. Gently starting to unwind, making your way back through center, so the backs of your shoulders, the backs of your hip are relatively grounded and level, bending your knees so they're pointing up towards the ceiling, and just finding a little windshield wiper from side to side. And then setting your feet down through center, knees up towards the ceiling, finding a glute bridge just to seal our practice before we head into our rest. Press down into your feet, take a breath, and then exhale, squeeze your bottom, reach your knees away, taking your hips up towards the ceiling. There can be a little bit of arch through your spine, feeling a stretch through the front of your pelvis, the front of your abdomen. And the more you reach your kneecaps away, through the belly of your quad as well. And then taking your time to lower yourself down, 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 vertebra at a time, from back of ribs, pelvis, tailbone. And then just stretch your legs long. Start to reach your arms up overhead and just start to wiggle your fingers, roll your wrists and your ankles. And then find whatever comfortable position that's calling you to just lie here. Lie here in relative stillness. The only real movement is your abdomen, your ribs, your chest. Receiving your breath and then giving it away again. Offering yourself space to rest. Just for 3 more rounds of breath. Rest your body, rest your mind. And let this rest just nourish you in your deepest, most quiet places. Inviting a little wiggle back to the fingers and the toes. A little swirl of the wrists and the ankles. And then trying to create the biggest good morning stretch you can. As you reawaken, rolling onto one side. And then slowly starting to press yourself back up into whatever upright position is calling you in this moment, giving your shoulders a gentle shrug and roll. Same with your head and your neck. And then closing down the eyes if they weren't already there, bringing a hand to rest on your belly, your low ribs or your chest. A gesture of love and gratitude for this incredible body that allows us to experience the world and for the world to experience us right back. Thank you for carving this time out of your day. I hope you feel that little bit more soothed. And I hope to see you again soon. Thank you.